Good morning, Shield Wall Nation. This is your daily report. Before I get into it, make sure you go down below, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon too, because the end of this is going to be a little bit of a doozy of information. So, let's get into this. So I'm going to put the COVID statistics as I do down below. Let's just start because I got a little bit to get into here. It says, aside from Barack and Michelle Obama, which Michelle Obama and Barack Obama kind of need to get their nose out of it because they had their chance, and of course, as you know, they have failed. But anyways, polling at 58 and 60% favorability. All other speakers at the Democratic National Convention poll below 50% favorability for all voters. According to the recent Morning Consult poll, it says, in fact, Senator Bernie Sanders at 47% has higher favorability than presidential candidate Joe Biden, who's at 46% amongst all voters. Other speakers such as Bill and Hillary Clinton poll even worse. Bill is at 41%, Hillary at 35%, with all voters and just 32 and 20% respectively with independents. Senator Amy Klobuchar, why can't they pick easier names? Anyways, is polling at 42% with all Democrat voters and just 20% with all independents. Secretary of State John Kerry is polling 43% with Democrats and 22% with independents. So, doesn't look like they're doing so well. Maybe just everyone's kind of tired of the violence that they let go throughout their cities, because I don't think they realize this. It starts small. It starts at the base of it all. And that's where we live as people, right? So, New York, Chicago, Baltimore, St. Louis, Seattle, Portland, all of California are run by Democrats, right? And out of Seattle, Portland, Baltimore, Chicago, and St. Louis, there's riots there, right? Even Kalamazoo has riots there. But they're all run by Democrats. And none of those Democrats actually did anything about the violence and chaos going on in their city. So as you can see, people are kind of getting tired of it. So once we the people, because that's what it's about, we the people, get tired of it, that's when we go, you know what? We're just not going to vote for you. Maybe we vote for the other side. Maybe something better will happen, right? For instance, if it was a Republican situation, people would be like, I'm tired of Republicans. Let's vote Democrat. See what happens, right? Hence why I lean right more than I do left. Because I've seen many years ago what the Democrats were doing, and I just did not like that. So I started voting and leaning more right. Now, if there's a Democrat that happens to come by and actually has very good policies, maybe years down the road I might vote for that guy. Right now, how everything's going, no. Okay. It says billionaire Democrat donor Marc Lasry recently told reporters that Biden's administration would bring big policy changes that could rattle the economy and markets. You know that if this is him quoting, you know that if the Democrats sweep, you're going to have more regulation. You're going to have higher taxes. I just don't see that as being a positive for the market, he said. End quote. It says among these policies could be a Green New Deal, which both Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris support. Biden went so far as to say that the Green New Deal was a crucial framework that could become a key part of his policy platform. Meanwhile, billionaire investor KevinOLeary was skeptical, quoting, All these wonderful ideas about green this and green that, none of that is going to be implemented, nor are corporate tax hikes, because he's saying Biden, got to keep people employed, end quote. But the Pattern Energy CEO Mike Garland says that he expects Biden's energy plan would focus on retaining fracking and coal industry workers as the administration pares back electrical production from fossil fuels. So, as it always happens with energy, they will say they will do these things, but the people that are going to be padding the president's pocket and politicians' pockets are the people that work in oil. Nothing's going to happen if Biden ever becomes president. No Green Deal, and nothing will happen with the Green Deal, and nothing will change during his administration. I'm calling it. It says, November is likely to be imbued with far-left violence, regardless of which candidate wins. Far-left revolutionary groups are strategically planning to achieve substantial disruption and are calling for increased violence against dwindling police ranks. Meanwhile, ongoing mass protests will likely have no shortage of bodies, with almost a quarter of youth not returning to universities this fall and high unemployment unlikely to return to near pre-pandemic levels. A contested election cannot be overstated as the prime opportunity for insurgents to bolster their efforts against law and order. A violent response from the infuriated right-wing activists and law enforcement officers, planned or incidental, could lead for tit-for-tat political violence. Insurgencies typically thrive on government missteps and overreactions, so expect far-left activists to continue creating situations where they can occur. So, yeah. As you can see, George Floyd's death wasn't for bolstering the idea of, hey, Black Lives Matter, right? We are unfairly treated, right? It was for something completely different, because we don't hear anything about Black Lives Matter, right? We don't hear any signs going up and this and that. We just see Black Lives Matter yelling Black Lives Matter and then destroying and looting everything. To me, Black Lives Matter, once again, and I will say it time and time again, Black Lives Matter do not matter to Black Lives Matter movement. Looting matters to them, violence matters to them, maiming and hurting and possibly killing people, not possibly they have, killing people matter to them, but not Black lives particularly. Hence why I say the BLM movement is the biggest farce and joke right along Antifa. Two of the biggest joke organizations this world has ever seen. And you think people dislike Democratic parties for what they're doing. I can see why they don't. I think BLM and Antifa is even worse than them. Hence why they're far left, right? Far left. You got to keep with that definition of far left and far right and keep it true. Because a lot of people throw around those definitions improperly. It says, Skylor Noel Jernigan was arrested yesterday for allegedly firing shots during a clash of protesters last weekend and is facing menacing and reckless endangerment charges. Jernigan is purportedly a member of the Patriot, Prayer, Proud Boys, and Portland's Liberation, all right-wing groups, often seen clashing with Antifa. On the same day, explosives were allegedly thrown at leftist protesters from a vehicle driven by quote-unquote MAGA folks, according to witnesses and video of the incident. Once again, I don't condone violence, of course, but the far left has pushed people too far, where they're finally reacting to their violence with unfortunate violence. Luckily, no one was shot. It doesn't say anyone was hurt. I mean, that's good. And then what was considered explosives, because that one gentleman that was a former Navy SEAL was said to be throwing explosives, but really it was just flashbangs, homemade flashbangs. So it doesn't, and I haven't seen the video, but it doesn't say what kind of explosives. No one was hurt, so I don't know. Hopefully no one was hurt, at least. Okay, it says Cascadian Resistance, a far-left group in the Pacific Northwest, encouraged Portland insurgents to stop letting cops beat you down. The message was paired with a minute-long video of police officers being beaten, including one Mexican police officer who was set on fire, in various uprisings around the world. The video closed with a statement: "Fight fascism on all fronts. No cops, no prisons, total abolition." Yeah. It's early. Please give me a break. I'm horrible at reading early in the morning. Words are difficult. But yeah. Fight fascism on all fronts. No cops, no prisons. Total abolition. So, yeah. There's that. So they are really calling for violence. And they say that they see a police officer being lit on fire. I mean, is it really a federale? Is it really a Mexican police? Is it really a cartel? I mean, you don't know. Cartels are dressed in police-looking uniforms too. We don't know. We don't know. It says approximately 200 rioters launched 3 waves of attacks on Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, office in Portland last night. The crowd targeted federal and local officers with lasers, softball-sized rocks, glass bottles, hammers, as well as full cans of soda. As a diversionary tactic, rioters lit large fires in the street while resuming their advance on the office. So, at some point, the people are going to die. It's like these people are asking for a civil war, right? Because at some point you're going to, as you see in school, right? The far left are basically violent bullies. And the right, far right, and everyone else are the ones being bullied. And at some point, everyone else is going to have enough and unleash holy hell on the bully and beat the living daylights out of him. And unfortunately, that will be toe-to-toe, won't be fighting, it'd be gunfire. And as you saw in that other thing I said with throwing explosives out, this might be the tipping point. We might see it, and it's going to be Portland. It's going to happen in Portland, unfortunately. Anyways, here is the news I want to tell you. A recent Gallup poll found that Black Americans' satisfaction with the treatment of fellow blacks has increased 3% since 2018. Meanwhile, white satisfaction level fell below to a record low of 41%. So according to the Democratic politicians, mainstream media and the far-left groups like Black Lives Matter, the blacks' dissatisfaction should have had radically declined since the death of George Floyd. The actual data suggests, however, that their attitudes have remained relatively unchanged. This reinforces the theory that 2020 uprising were likely far-left plans simply waiting for the trigger event, just like George Floyd. So there's that. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay strong. Stay resilient. Shield wall